So starting where we left off in the previous video, we got down to the last unit fraction that we're going to subtract something from in order to get to 1/6. So once again, we're looking for the lowest common multiple between 2 and 6, and that is 6. So we don't have to change 1/6. We're just going to write that down again as 1/6 is equal to, we're going to rewrite 1/2 as 3/6 so that they have the same denominator. And now we're asking ourselves is what 3/6 minus what is 1/6? And the answer is 2/6, which is not a unit fraction. But if we simplify, we will get 1/3, which is a unit fraction. So now let's count. Let's go back and count. In our first example, when we were looking at 1/3, we found one pair of unit fractions whose difference was 1/3. So we found 1. When we were looking at 1/4, we found two pairs of unit fractions whose difference was 1/4. 2. When we were looking at 1/6, we found 1, 2, 3, 4 unit fractions whose difference was 1/6, 4. So let's write that down. Let's write it down as a chart so that we can compare our findings. So here we'll have our 1/n. So we'll write down our n's here, and then we'll write how many corresponding ways, how many pairs we found for each fraction, so that when they were subtracted, we got that fraction. So how many pairs? Okay, so when we had n equals 3, so when we had 1/3, we found only one pair of unit fractions. When n was equal to 4, or when we're working with a fraction 1/4, we found two ways. And when we were working with n equals 6, or 1/6, we found 4 different pairs of unit fractions whose difference was 1/6. So there seems to be a pattern emerging here, and that pattern, if you think about it, is when whatever n you have, so for any fraction where that looks like 1/n, the number of pairs of unit fractions that when you subtract them, when you find their difference is 1/n, is equal to n minus 2. So you can go ahead and explore that. See if you find out, try out some more fractions with higher denominators and see if that holds true, and think about why that might be the case.